This is the Flathead Valley Sports Haven, a new segment where I highlight current and former Flathead Valley area players, coaches, and sports figures celebrating the best athletics the Valley has to offer. The Flathead Valley Sports Haven is powered by Logan Health, and today's guest is Krystal Jackson. Krystal is a former UCLA Bruin women's volleyball standout and now coach who is working with young athletes here in the Valley. We're talking about what it really takes to develop at a high level, both physically and mentally. Krystal, first and foremost, thanks for joining me here today.
Thank you so much for having me, Cole. Happy to be here.
Why don't we just start with, can you give us a little bit of a background about who you are, where you came from, and why you now call the Flathead Valley home?
Yes, so I'm actually from a small town in Southern California called Ventura, which I know small town sounds kind of different from, SoCal to Montana, but really Ventura is a small town. And I'll just say that I was a big dreamer at a young age. So at 10 years old, I actually told my mom I'm going to play college athletics. And it was at my grandfather's funeral too. So I don't know why, no idea why this came to me, but it did. And I ran and told my mom, and she's just like, okay, Krystal. And I'm really fortunate my parents fostered that passion for me. So in 8th grade, made a 16-year-old volleyball team. Actually, I started playing volleyball at 12 because of my sister. 14, made a 16-year-old team. At 14 years old, as a freshman, was a starter on varsity. And my high school volleyball coach told my mom, Krystal needs to try out for this club. And this club was about 30 minutes south of me. They had just won the biggest tournament of the year. And somehow I made it. And it was an 18-year-old team. So really, I don't know why I made it. But because I was 14 and these girls were so much better, but I truly believe because I was a hard worker, and my coach probably looked at me like, okay, I can train this girl. Like, she loves it. And thankfully, my coach was a setter who played in college. And so I got to learn from him and I went on and played for UCLA. Freshman year, got to play a little bit here and there. Sophomore year, had a surgery, so I redshirted, and then I was a 3-year starter and captain after that. And after college, I went on and played professionally on the beach and loved it, but I went from the top of my game to bottom of my game, switching from indoor to beach. And during that time also, I got asked to train with the national team, and I actually said no. I got married instead. So it was the week I was supposed to go to the national team, I got married. So I had to kind of pick.
Life had other plans.
Yes, and still married today, 20 years to my husband.
That's absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
How about how did going to UCLA, how did playing for the Bruins, how did that kind of shape you as a person and as an athlete?
Oh my gosh, that's such a great question. I really learned the art of working hard and going after my dreams to get to UCLA. That was actually, my mom was so sweet. Krystal, why don't we look at some other smaller schools? And I was such a laser focused, eye on the prize, I'm going to UCLA. So then when I got there, I already had the knowledge of okay, how do I earn a position? And it was through hard work, getting in the gym, doing extra work. Even when I had shoulder surgery my sophomore year, I'm in the gym every single day because that's the only thing I knew was, okay, if I can't actually physically play volleyball right now, I can get as strong as possible. And that actually really helped me to then be able to start for 3 years.
What was maybe the biggest sacrifice you had to make being a collegiate athlete?
There's a lot of sacrifices, and that actually starts in high school, missing events, parties. I lost a boyfriend. It was okay, by the way.
I think your husband would say so too.
Yes, totally. But there was a lot of sacrifices, and I think that is something that an athlete has to understand, that the sacrifice is actually worth it, 100%, if you are passionate about it. So then when I got into college, it wasn't hard to make the decision of, okay, I need to get up earlier, train harder, eat better, not drink as much, all these things, because I already had that instilled through high school.
Yeah, it was kind of already part of your lifestyle, or it was your lifestyle.
Yeah, because in club volleyball, in Southern California, you're traveling all across the country, missing, you could miss a dance, you could miss prom, and that was okay because of the vision of playing D1 college athletics.
I think something that when you look at youth athletics, whether you're 14, 15, 16, kind of that freshman and sophomore year, that's when you're still trying to figure yourself out. That junior year is kind of when you realize maybe you have what it takes. What was that aha moment for you, that when you knew that you could compete at UCLA, when you knew that, hey, I have what it takes to be here? Was it before you got there? Was it after you got there?
I would say before, and again, go back to my club team. Because I was on such a high-level team, I started getting recruiting at 14 years old. So because I'm playing with such a high-level team, coaches were looking at me because I was on that team. And I would say because I surrounded myself with girls that all had D1 aspirations, it helped me go, okay, if they can do it, I can do it. And I'm watching them and learning from them. I mean, I was a third-string setter on my club team for 2 years and didn't even start playing on the court till my junior year, which now I would say in club volleyball is really late to be starting your setting career as a junior.
Okay. That's actually a good segue right into kind of youth athletics in general, kind of the reality for youth athletes. Give me an idea, what separates an average versus a college level athlete?
That's a really great question. First and foremost, I always go back to this. They have to believe bigger than what anybody else says. Mom, dad, coaches, pastor, grandparents, the people that mean the most to you might even doubt you. And that's okay. So you have to have this unshakable belief and faith within you that it's like no one can take you off the train. You know what I mean? It's like if you want to make D1 happen or whatever, even not just D1, I don't want to just say that. College athletics as a whole, you have to believe inside you that you can make it happen, but the steps to get there look different for each person, right? So we're a huge believer of strength training. Of course, that was the thing where I rebuilt myself multiple times, was the weight room, to go, okay, after a shoulder surgery, after stopping playing indoor and going to beach, like the weight room was the thing that taught me how to really believe in myself. The other things are being willing to do what other people won't, 100%. I mean, that's a very common one, but you really have to have this thing inside of you that's like, okay, I'm willing to get up at 5 a.m, or I'm willing to do my extra reps. So I, recommend with all of my athletes, it's not what you do inside the gym, it's actually what you're doing outside of the gym that really matters. And then doing your best to get around other high-level people that are thinking the same thing, especially now with these youth athletes. Mm-hmm. And we don't need to go down the rabbit hole of electronics and all that stuff. But
we'll get more into that for sure.
Yeah, but who you surround yourself with. And are you surrounding yourself with people that believe in you no matter what? And at that same time, Cole, are you being that person for other people?
There's a good one.
Right? In my trainings, I will tell the athletes, you can either be influencing people in the positive or the negative. So you need to check in with you. And are you influencing people in the positive? Are you inspiring your friends to be better, to be great?
I like that one. How about, we talk about, we'll get into college athletics a lot, but there's also a lot of athletes who their senior year is their pinnacle. Being a varsity athlete is the pinnacle of their sports life, in a sense, and aren't going off to college. Talk to me about how a lot of these same principles that a college athlete has, a varsity athlete needs to have, even if they're not going on to play collegiately, because everything that you learn in sports, I think, is just a perfect metaphor for life in general.
Oh, 100%. And it goes back to the number one thing I said, the belief, right? You can take that as a varsity athlete, collegiate athlete, in everything you do. I was a new skier here because my mom didn't let me ski. And so I even telling myself, I can do this. Mm-hmm. I can do this when I'm skiing because I had never skied before, if that makes sense. So everything that you learn in sports, whether you're a varsity athlete, collegiate athlete, you can apply to life. And a lot of my teachings actually come from that notion of okay, well, how do you set a goal and achieve it? It's the same thing whether you want to make varsity as a volleyball player, if you want to play collegiate athletics, or if you want to achieve whatever dream it is in life.
How about let's go into, again, being from California, UC athletes in a different way there. They kind of have a different mindset, a different mentality. You come out here and athletes, I'm not saying are any worse by any means, but maybe the resources aren't there for athletes here in the Valley as much as a kid in San Diego type of thing. So what are kids here in the Valley maybe missing the most? And I feel like you and your husband are doing a good job of kind of filling in kind of that gap.
Yes, I will say that's what I noticed moving here from SoCal. I would say the resources for athletics is on a whole different page, and no disrespect to where we live. It just is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just, 3 or 4 volleyball clubs, let's just say. It's 10 volleyball clubs, and these girls are traveling all around the country, playing athletics. So the level is just different, and I think the mindset for where we were in San Diego, where all those kids had eye on the prize on D1, where when I first came here and started working with kids, they maybe didn't even believe that they could. And so myself and Curtis, we're just here to inspire these kids to like, hey, it's possible. You can do this. And here's the roadmap to get there. So I just invite all athletes, no matter what your sport is give yourself the chance. Like we were talking about before with your sister, regretting not being able to play college athletics. Of all the athletes that my husband and I have trained, I get that question actually, Krystal, should I do it? It's so much time. And Cole, I've told every athlete, I'm like, if you have that opportunity, do it. Do it for 1 year. Do it for your first quarter. And if you absolutely don't like it, guess what? You gave yourself the chance. You were able to see if you liked it or not. Maybe you're not the student athlete, but maybe you like it. Maybe you love it. And then you go on to do great things.
What do kids need from parents in this day and age? Obviously, we're in kind of a different, it's kind of a different world than it was 20, even 10 years ago. What do kids need from their parents? What do the parents have to make sure that they're doing to help their kids develop the way that their kids need to develop?
That's a great question. And I think I'm in a unique position being an athlete, being a coach, and being a parent, because we have 3 kids that are going through sports. And the biggest thing I would say to parents is be curious with your kid. Ask them questions. Well, what are your goals? What would you like to do? If everything was possible, where would you want to go? So the problem I see is that parents, and it's not anything that they're doing maliciously, I don't believe, but they might be limiting their child. I hear it a lot. Oh, well, my daughter, let's just say for volleyball, my daughter's too short to play D1. My daughter's this, my daughter's that. So parents, I just ask, take all the, what's the word I want to say? The limiters off. Take the limiters off and just allow your child to dream, and then go, okay, how can we make that happen? What do you think you need to do? Asking the athlete that question. What do you think? Versus us telling our kid, which, by the way, it's hard for Curtis and myself too, because we're like, okay, yep, you need to work on this and this and this. But one of the best things I developed, I'll say, with one of my children is I said, hey, can I give you one piece of advice after every game? Because my brain wants to go from coach mode, right? And I'm like, this and this and this and this. But what was happening with my kid was he didn't want to hear it, right? So then I have this agreement, and parents take this because I think it really works. And make an agreement with your kid and ask them, can I give you one piece of advice? And then parents pick wisely. And it could be, hey, your effort out there was incredible. And that's the other thing. Always encourage attitude and effort over points scored, over, home runs hit, all of that. It's always their attitude and effort. But that right there, when I did that with my son, it changed everything. So then it made me pick wisely on what I wanted to acknowledge him for. Or it was, hey, you got to work on your rebounds, right? So you're just picking wisely. But parents, be there as their support system. Give them the opportunities. Ask them questions. Let them dream with no limitations.
I like that you bring that up because I've been actually reading, I've been seeing a lot, the 10-minute car ride home can be the most important part of a young athlete's journey. It's not the game. They kind of know what they're doing when they get on the field. Every coach around here is that good, but I've really been reading up into that car ride home where you almost avoid the topic about talking about the game. You make that car ride. If they want to talk about it, great. But if they don't, you talk about, hey, what do you want for dinner? Talk about homework. Talk about anything other than the game unless they bring it up, because sometimes they hear it from everywhere. What's your opinion on that car ride home and how valuable that could be?
I love that you bring this question up, because here's what I would say. if you want to talk about it, you got to ask, because that's what I do. My boys lost. They played for WCA. They lost a championship game. My oldest was in 6th grade. My younger one was in 4th grade. And they were mad. They lost by 3 points to St. Matt's. And so this is a couple of years ago. And trust me, there's every part of me that's like, oh my gosh, let's break it down, point by point. And so we get in the car and I'm like, okay, what's going to be the best for them? Because it's not about me. Mm-hmm. The game is not about me. This is about them and their development. I said, hey, do you guys want to talk about it? They're like, no. I'm like, okay. So we sat in silence for about 5 minutes. It only took 5 minutes. And then they brought it up. And then I was like, oh, okay, yeah. And then I just kept asking questions. So the car ride to me, I take my kids everywhere. And it is my most favorite time, because sometimes it is silence and sometimes that's what they need. Or sometimes we can ask the questions, but just ask if they want it. Because if they don't want it, my dad was so sweet. He'd be like, oh, Krystal, we lost to USC. My 5th year at UCLA, we lost 15-13 at UCLA. Ooh. And my dad is the kindest man. Oh, Krystal, I thought you had that one. Guess what? Do you think I want to talk about it, Cole? No. I was so mad inside still. And so I needed space to just feel my emotions. And that's what I needed. But my parents, they just didn't know that they're the best.
I like that. Let's go into the Flathead Valley, because we can talk about development on a generic aspect more. But I want to talk about the Valley here in general, because you've been in the Valley for quite a while now. You kind of have an idea of the athletes, the kind of development they need. Take me through what makes this area unique for developing athletes.
I think this area has so many untapped athletes, if that makes sense. Like kids that are athletic, they're hungry, they want it. It's like this gem of athletes that I feel like coaches don't know about. And so, remind me, what was it? What was the
just kind of the uniqueness of developing athletes here?
Yeah, it is unique because we have multiple sport athletes, which Curtis, my husband, actually interviewed Karch Karai a couple years ago. He was the national team coach for many years, the best of the best, like literally the best on the beach and indoor. And one year, one of his Olympian group, they all were multi-sport athletes. So I actually think it's a very positive thing because we reduce risk of burnout. We reduce risk of injuries because they're just, let's say, only playing volleyball, only playing tennis, only playing football, right? That's a lot of pressure on these kids. So I actually feel like we have some of the most talented athletes, and we're trying to do everything we can to actually give these athletes possibilities to like go play.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because I did when I had your husband on here. We really delved into the multi-sport athlete angle, and in California they may be a little more specialized, just because when you're going to a UCLA or a USC, you pretty much it's either you're doing this one sport and you're not doing anything else. I think in general, being out here, that's one thing I love about being out in a more rural area is football is going to help you for basketball. Basketball is going to help you for baseball. Volleyball is going to help you for basketball. Basketball is going to help you for track. Track's going to help you for everything. Talk to me about the advantage that maybe these kids have of being multi-sport athletes that they don't realize.
For sure. Athleticism carries over from sport to sport, like you just said. So there are a lot of advantages. It gives them... is there really true balance in life? But let's just use that word right now, right? It gives them a little bit more of a balance. So I think it's actually a very positive thing. And these kids are playing 3 sports plus skiing, right? And now you're talking about super athletic if you're doing black diamonds and all these things, right? That I still don't know much about. But I will say on the other side, though, there is a time I believe that athletes should start looking at, if I want to play college athletics, D1, D2, D3, NAIA, all of them are amazing. I think the stat now is somewhere, I could be off on this, but let's just say around 5% of athletes actually make it to college.
I think it's even smaller than that.
Maybe 3. Mm-hmm. Yeah, something like that. So number 1, it's possible. Number 2, at a certain age, and I think every sport is probably a little bit different. I don't know all the sports, but you have to start looking at, okay, is it valuable for me to play 3 sports in high school? And it's fun. It's with your friends. There's value in that for sure. But if you really want to go make it, with one sport, there will be that transition point where you just have to feel it. So I was a basketball volleyball player, and my parents and I moved into an apartment for 2 years to play basketball from my coach, Coach Vaughn. Love him, amazing man. But after 2 years, the light was, Krystal, if you want to play D1 volleyball where I wanted to go, I had to let go of basketball. And that was okay. And we've had athletes in the Valley, similar situation where it came to them that it was time. So listen to that too.
You're listening to the Flathead Valley Sports Haven. I'm here with Krystal Jackson of Jackson Strength and Performance, and we'll be back after a quick timeout courtesy of Logan Health.
Is pain or weakness holding you back? When the pain cramps your lifestyle, consider joint replacement. At Logan Health Orthopedics, their total joint program provides proper education, support, and guidance during your journey. Orthopedic nurse navigators walk you through the entire process, from decision to recovery. Their surgeons use the latest technology to get you back to activity quickly with less pain and fewer restrictions. Visit logan.org/ortho to learn more. Get back to what you love with Logan Health Orthopedics.
Back from the break here on the Flathead Valley Sports Haven. All right, Krystal, before we went to break, you made a really good point that I want to touch on. I think in Montana, one thing that I like that we're seeing is the stigma of an NAIA, of a JUCO, is kind of going away. That 10 years ago, 15 when I was in high school, playing for an NAIA was looked down upon. Now playing for an NAIA, playing for a JUCO is you're a high-level athlete. You're a high-level player. Every single football coach that I know of that coaches in Montana at that level prefer multi-sport athletes. They want someone who has played 3 sports. They don't want someone who's quit 2 to focus on one as much. So talk to me about that balance and how you kind of balance that maybe.
Well, first and foremost, I would just say, if you make it to college, be so freaking proud of yourself.
Yeah.
Number one, that you actually had the belief within you from, our previous conversation, like the belief to go, okay, I'm enough, I'm good enough, I can see myself doing this, and I'm going to put the work into it to make it happen. So I think that right there is such a huge achievement. And you're right, NAIA, JUCO, it was looked down upon. I have a nephew right now in Southern California. He's a stud volleyball player that is playing junior college for 2 years to get to play D1 college volleyball.
That's a perfect route to do it.
Yeah, he's in like Huntington Beach, So it's easy. But for these athletes, I think just getting clear on, do I want to play college athletics? And whatever it looks like, it looks like. So one of the best things I believe that I tell my athletes to do is you say this in the recruiting process: the perfect school will want me. And I love that phrase because it puts my mindset in the opportunity of everything is possible. Mm-hmm. But if you want to go play college, you want to like your coach. You want to like your teammates. It's actually not about the assistant coaches, just FYI.
Yep.
I learned that at a young age because I almost went to another school because of the assistant coach. And I had, thankfully, an assistant coach at University of Arizona. She's like, you never go to a college for an assistant coach. And we were super close. And I'm grateful for that because it was like, that's right. The head coach probably won't leave. Assistant coaches leave all the time. But, going back, if you can do it, you got to do it and go for it and be proud that you did that. And if you go for it and you miss, at least you went for it.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I love that answer. How about take me through some of the talent you've seen here, maybe in the Valley, that surprised you a little bit?
Yes. So... well, we talked about one of them before. Do you want me to say names?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Well, there are definitely some high-level athletes and some girls. I'll just specifically go to the girl athletes because I know them better
totally
than
fair.
Male athletes. But, I'm impressed with some of these girls that can do the multi-sport athlete at different, not even just 1 to 2 sports, 2 to 3 sports. And it's actually incredible to me because in Southern California, it was not that way. Like to play basketball, volleyball was a big deal. But for these athletes to go from volleyball season to basketball season to then tennis season, per se, like that is a typical volleyball player, does volleyball, basketball, and then tennis. I just think these girls are incredible. And there's the part of me that loves it, Cole, but then there's a part of me that's like, shoot, I'm planning this for you, and then you can't make it.
That's funny.
I will say one thing that I know Curtis and I both are really proud to see is, we have very talented volleyball clubs here. And I'm also seeing girls reach outside of Flathead Valley and going down to Missoula. So I do want to acknowledge those girls that some of them have gone and tried out for, a club team down there, made it, and still decided to stay here. I think that's awesome. And some girls, tried out, made the team, and making that drive. So that commitment, and we haven't even talked about commitment. That's interesting.
We'll get to that.
There. But that's what it takes, is that commitment level, no matter if you stay home here or if you drive. I think it's incredible, and really proud to see these girls thinking bigger, not just Montana, because I think that's the thing I noticed in my first experience of coaching here. Some girls weren't even thinking about it, and some girls were only thinking about Montana. Now I have athletes that are like, oh my gosh, maybe there and there. And we have Haven Spear, that she was a Glacier girl that, playing down in Florida now, which is awesome. And there's more than that, but that was just one example.
Something I want to ask you too, because I don't know what it's like in California. I can only speak to what I know here. I've been to Wyoming, I've been to the Dakotas, Idaho. One thing that I really like about here too is, and while club sports are great, I like that you have that pride to wear your team's colors here. If you're from Whitefish, there's a pride that goes with putting on the green and gold. When you're in Columbia Falls, there's pride to put on that blue and red. Kalispell Flathead, Kalispell Glacier, the same. What do you like about maybe that you see? Because I feel like you don't see it in the bigger cities as much as you do in smaller towns like this. What does it mean to you to see these girls kind of wearing those colors with pride like that?
Oh, I love it. I love the small town vibe. It is one of the things that I would say Curtis and I moved here for, was the small town and raising our kids in a different environment than Southern California. I don't want to knock it, because I feel like I'm a good human being that came from Southern California.
It's just different.
It is completely different. And I do love, I'm seeing Big Fork, right? I have girls that play basketball, and the whole town is cheering them on as they're leaving to go to state basketball. You see Whitefish basketball, the girls program, there's so much love on that team. And these girls are playing not just one sport together, but multiple sports. I love that. And so I think it's a really cool experience for these kids to play multiple sports in high school and have that friendship. And I would say in Southern California, it was just a different, like Torrey Pines High School. We had a ton of athletes that we worked with at Torrey Pines High School, La Costa Canyon, all of this is in San Diego, or even Santa Fe Christian. And there still is that pride. It's just wider spread, if that makes sense. It's not just like, okay, cool, Whitefish or Sioux Falls or Big Fork.
I love that. And then that commitment aspect is something you've been kind of touching on. Let's go right into that. The difference between a confident athlete and the one who struggles type of thing. Give me an idea of how you maybe unlock that confidence. I know no commitment is big, but confidence is huge in terms of kind of steering you the right way.
Well, confidence is built from within. So that is probably the biggest question I get the most. How can I be more confident? And I'm like, okay, well, let me break this down. Let me think about this, because I really want to take it and make it simple. So if you are not doing the things to be a better athlete, you are not going to be confident. It's just like a test. Mm-hmm. If you didn't study, you're going to walk in, you're going to be like, oh, shoot, uh-oh, But if you are doing the extra things, and here are the extra things that I encourage. Like I've told you, I've built myself so many times in the weight room. It's a must for me. And that's a personal thing. That's just like, okay, I'm going to make sure that mentally I'm building myself up here in the mind and the body. So that's number one. Number two, I'm practicing extra reps because I choose it, not because my coach, my parents, I don't want to be led that way. I want it to come from within, rather than my parents be like, hey, did you do your reps today? It's like, hey, I did my reps today. So lead that. Mm-hmm. The other one is watch film of yourself.
That was going to be my next question.
100%. It is the easiest thing to sit there and watch, and it's uncomfortable. Trust me, I get it.
Yep.
But I would say, I think it was my 4th year where I had the aha of like, asking my coach who had been there for, Andy Benikowski's been at UCLA, or he was there for 37 years, the most winningest coach. I'm like, he's brilliant. How can I learn more from him? So I said, hey, can we have lunch every Monday and watch film together? So that way I could get to learn his brain. So athletes, you watch it, number one, but also ask your coach to watch video with you. Learn from them. How do they see the game that you as a young athlete, you just don't know what you don't know. But those are the things right there. And then I would actually, let me add in a couple more. Getting good sleep.
Yep.
Taking care of your health,
Drinking
going to
water,
bed, drinking,
eating right.
Yeah, and like drink, 36 ounces when you first wake up, or 32 ounces, when you first wake up, because you've been sleeping, hopefully really good. Be mindful of your extracurricular activities and what you're doing. Electronics, how are you feeding yourself? Are you on the electronics, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, all those things? There are benefits and positives 100%, but it's still like that circle of friends. What are you feeding yourself? And like, read a book instead.
Yep.
So, those are the things that I would say build your confidence. Cole, you and I both know we feel so much better when we do those things.
Yep.
And you can take all of that and put it into life. Did you wake up and you're prepared today? Awesome. You're going to feel good. And even if you make a mistake, you're still going to feel better about yourself than if you're under prepared.
And so that actually is a perfect segue into what I really want to ask is, we know what athletes have to do. If you've played sports, you have practice every day. You're going to have maybe a structured film session for like 20 or 30 minutes. Your coach is going to tell you, talk to me about, though, the best athletes know that the work doesn't stop when practice does. Talk to me, how important is it to be, and I think that goes back to being in a rural area multi-sport athlete. We have the ability to go outside and shoot hoops. We have the ability to walk onto a practice field and throw a football. We have the ability to go play backyard baseball if we want to. Yeah. Talk to me about going and doing that kind of stuff, going out and just free-falling it, just playing, just having fun in the backyard, to watching film and knowing that, hey, practice is over, but I still got to get up 500 more shots or 500 more sets type of thing. I still have to watch this 30 minutes of film on my own to be even more prepared, because, again, the work doesn't end when practice ends, and the best athletes know that.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought this up, because it actually starts way before practice starts. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's like, okay, visualization. Let's just say you have a big tournament on Saturday. Well, you could be imagining how you want to play as early as possible. So let's just say the night before. Really, it's going to be more than that, but let's just, break it down that way. The night before, put all your stuff out, kids. Get it all out. Okay. We've all experienced the missing shoe, the ankle brace, the knee pad, the jersey. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Okay. We've all had that experience, the worst experience ever. Okay. So put all your stuff out. And I did this when I was younger. It was like, for whatever reason, my basketball coach, Coach Giordano, was like, put all your stuff in the bag. Okay. So do that. But also, when you're falling asleep, your brain is the most malleable. And so you want to start imagining how you want to play.
Yep.
And you're speaking positively to yourself. So there's kind of multifaceted. If you have negative thoughts running around about this big tournament, get it all out in paper. Like, get it out. So I'm kind of giving you two different scenarios here. But you got to get out the bad stuff.
Write it down.
Write it down. Exactly. There's a whole process that I teach of like how to reframe it, but just get it out on paper. Then when you fall asleep, now you're imagining how you play, and you're speaking positive things to yourself. Gone are the days of self-beat up. Like, honestly, and I have to still catch myself at 44 years young. I still have to catch myself, because that was my go-to way, and I performed that way. And when I was hard on myself, I performed better. But I've really had to retrain my mind. And like I said in the beginning, gosh, could I have been better if I was more loving and kind to myself and imagining how I wanted to play, versus in that self-beat up of, well, gosh, you didn't do this and you stink at this and all those things. So then the next morning, same thing, Cole. You wake up and you're in that malleable space, meaning your brain is like learning and growing. Imagine again how you want to play. So that way you're prepared, right? Then you step in and go to that tournament. So players, the practice, the tournaments are like the gold. That's like the fun part. All these extra things get to happen, but that also comes back to your commitment level. And again, what you decide. Because if you decide that you want to put in the extra reps after practice, you want to watch more film after practice, or better yet, before practice, so you're actually prepared, talking to your coach about playtime, that's a big one. How can I earn more playtime? Not why didn't I play? It's asking those uncomfortable questions. That's going to make them such a better athlete. and in life as well.
I was going to say, that's going to prepare you for life so much better, too.
Yeah.
One thing you touched on is in this day and age, we're very technological driven. We have Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, several more apps, Snap, whatever it may
Whatever
be.
it is.
Talk to me about using technology as an advantage, and how do you keep it out of space, out of mind, to not let it distract you at the same time? Because it can be a very useful tool if done right.
100%.
I think every athlete should have their own athletic Twitter page to throw stats out there.
100%. I think there's so much value and benefit. We are in the most information overload time ever. And so everything you want to know is really at your fingertips on your phone. So use it for the benefit. What the problem is the let's say Instagram, and I'm on there, so I'm guilty of it too. It's like you see something, you read it, it's awesome, and then something else pops up, or TikTok, So you have to have these boundaries and guidelines with yourself. And that's, again, going back to your commitment. It depends what you're feeding yourself. So athletes
use it as a tool more than anything, right?
Yeah. And it really, when I think about it, I'm like, okay, there's a lot of information on YouTube where you can literally type it in versus, and same on Instagram. I don't know TikTok at all, but I think on Instagram, you can type in, what you need. Let's say, life skills or whatever it is, right? So use it as a tool because there's so many people out there that are excited to share their experiences with you. There's also the negative, and you have to be mindful of that as well.
Yeah, I think we could probably talk for another hour, but I think we're going to have to wrap this up pretty quick. So for a closing remark, I have a good one here. If a young athlete is listening right now, what should they start doing tomorrow?
Well, you'd start doing it today, Cole,
yeah.
not tomorrow. That would be number one. That's a really great question, and my brain's going like 5 different directions.
How about we go like by age group? A soon-to-be freshman in high school, maybe your sophomore to junior leap, because I feel like that's where a big leap happens, and then maybe your senior year. What should each of those age groups be doing right now?
Well, I think all of it actually is check in with yourself why you want this. If you, for example, do you want to play college athletics? Yes. Okay, why? What is the allure for you? And what are you willing to do to make that happen? And it's okay if you're like, what? I like the sport. I don't love it. And that's okay. And playing high school is amazing. Let's celebrate that. But if you're on the other side and you're like, okay, I love the sport. I want to pursue college. Okay, what do I get to do to make that happen? That's more the younger crew. If you're by sophomore, junior, senior year, I think you really just got to check in with yourself going, do I still want this? And what do I get to change with my habits? Because really all of this comes back to our habits and commitments, right? Are we willing to get up at 5 a.m. to be at the gym at 5:30?
There it is.
Right? Are we willing? Or
can we turn the TV off for 30 minutes at night?
100%. Or if you're going to watch TV, like we talked about watching Dennis Rodman rebounds, so you become a better rebounder.
Watching an educational program type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And have the balance of fun, of course. We all don't have to be Kobe Bryant, and I love Kobe. He was a very special human, of the most, in my experience from the outside, obviously not knowing him, but the most diligent athlete I can think of.
Go watch his post-playing career interviews that he does. Those will teach you the mindset of how to be one of the best in the world. He's
incredible. I mean, I still get emotional thinking about him not being here physically with us anymore.
That's right. I like that we have technology. You can go watch all his highlights. And then one thing before I get you out of here, what is something... Oh, where is that question? Here we go. What is one thing you wish you knew at 15?
This is good. I like that you didn't give me this question ahead of time, because I'd rather just speak from my heart. I wish I knew at 15 that I could do both. And the reason why I say that is, I think at 15, I really lived in the world of I could do one thing, and not sports related. I mean, I like to live in the world now of the and both. Okay, how can I be doing this and do this? And so I encourage, if that makes sense, I encourage everybody to do the and. So how can I
turn the but to an and type of thing?
100%, always. And even how I write, I always turn the but into an and. But yes, do it all, right? I wish I would have, and I think I did. I think I did a decent job. Here's where I tell you, I know I said I made it a but, was going to train with the national team. I could have done both. And I wish at 23, I would have just said yes. So there's the better answer. Just say yes and figure it out. Because if it's meant to be, it's going to happen. You can figure out anything. You have such a beautiful support system here in the Valley with hopefully your parents, grandparents, coaches, other resources. Say yes and figure out the rest later.
I love that. You and your husband run Jackson Strength and Performance. I know he does a lot of that gym side of things. You help with that. You run the volleyball side of things. If someone wants to come check it out, how do they get a hold of you guys? What do they have to do to come either get a workout in or check out the gym?
So best way is to reach out to me on Instagram. It's at Jackson Strength Volleyball. I have a page there that you can just send me a DM, or you can do Jackson Strength and Performance. Either one will go to both of us. And we're just so grateful to be here. We love it here.
And do you allow people to just walk in?
Yeah, you can walk in. It'll be most likely myself or Curtis will be at our gym facilities. Mm-hmm. We don't have a volleyball facility yet. That's the vision, right? But you can walk into Jackson Strength and Performance. One of us will greet you, talk to you. You can even try it out for a free workout, and we'll go from there.
How about a phone number to reach you?
Oh, yeah. You can call me or just shoot me a text. I'm really good with texts.
Okay.
And it's 858-444-5924. I know I need to change it to a 406. I know.
And then remind me where you're located. You're on 93, just outside Whitefish, correct?
We're still in Whitefish. We're actually just
You're just inside. Okay,
Whitefish.
that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
So we're before the 40. I would say about a mile before the 40. And it's a cool 3,600 square foot facility. And it's magical. Curtis and I did it back in San Diego and loved our experience there. And it's just been so cool to bring that to the Valley here.
Perfect. I think that's all I got for you. Hey, thanks for joining me today. I know we could probably go another hour talking about this, but
yes,
we'll find a time in the next couple of months to maybe get a little more specified.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Paul. This has been awesome.